Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayshawn and thank you so much for clicking on this video today. You already know your girl is back with another video, and because I got my handy dandy phone in my hand, you know it is an Askkay. If you want to be a part of this series, I do have my email in my description box below. Make sure you send it to the correct email. If you send it to my business email, it will just get deleted. Also, there is a link to my membership in case you want exclusive extra story times, and my PO box information, and my social media, Kayshawn with 3 E's on TikTok and Instagram. Okay. Also, not only should you be sending it to the right email, if your grammar is messed up, if the story don't make no sense, if I can't read it correctly, it will not make it on the channel. Sorry, not sorry, but I be trying to understand the story, y'all, so y'all gotta make sure it makes sense, okay? Make sure you guys are subscribed, thumbs up this video, double check to make sure your post notification is turned on, and leave a comment before you leave. Now I ain't gonna ramble too much longer, so without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Let's go. So boom, y'all, let's get right into it. This is titled Psycho Sugar Daddy Story Time. She said, "Hi Kate, hope you're doing well. My name is Key. I found your videos a month ago, and let me tell you, they've been really helping me get through my road rage on traffic days. Girl, I got road rage too. I could be in jail if it weren't for you, lol, so thank you. You welcome, boo. Anyways, I figured your viewers might want to hear this story about the time I had a real life psycho sugar daddy. It's a little long, but here it goes. From the looks of it, y'all, it is very long. Do y'all see this? Yo, we're gonna be here for a minute, which is good. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so this happened almost 10 years ago. I was in my early 20s and I had just moved back to my hometown in the Midwest from Hawaii. I had left Hawaii because of a whack ass roommate who tried to frame me for theft and a crazy ex boyfriend who had multiple personalities. But that's another story for another day. Okay, girl, because what's going on? So here I was back in my hometown, staying in my parents' empty house and feeling like a failure. My parents retired and moved, so they told me if I paid rent on my childhood home, I could stay there with no problem. Like I said, I was feeling like I failed at life because my parents had to help me. I also had never gotten my driver's license, and if you know anything about the Midwest, it's not good about public transportation. Buses come only once every hour and stop at 8 p.m. and entirely on the weekends, so I had no choice but to find a job at the only place within walking distance of my house. I ended up finding a job at a cute little bar about 3 miles away, to where I could catch the bus to work and then walk all the way back home at night or get a cab. I don't think we had Uber at this time. Now, it was a nice bar actually that was downtown in the little city I grew up in. The bar was right across the street from the courthouse and 2 blocks away from a hospital, so a lot of the clientele were lawyers, judges, and doctors. Sis, what bar you at? Because you know your girl single and looking, you know what I'm saying? AKA the money, okay? It was 3 floors of bars, food, and hookah. All the guy bartenders wore suspenders and the waitresses all wore sexy black mini dresses. I love putting on my tight little black dress and getting all the tips. Oh, by the way, I never described myself. I promise I'm not being conceited when I say I'm a pretty girl, 5'5" with brown eyes, smile like the sun, lol. Okay, sis. I'm used to having all the male attention and using it to my benefit, so I was working with it. I had many regulars because of this and the fact that I am a pretty social person. My friends from around town would come in and party with me when I was working and show me some love. The other regulars were mostly wealthy older white men, but I had one that was my age. Let's call him Leprechaun because he was a little stocky Irish guy with red hair that only cared about his coin, lol. Leprechaun started being my regular because I had served him lunch one day and he became obsessed with me. He would always tell me how beautiful I was and how I was just the perfect girl to make his wife cringy. I'm probably being mean, but Leprechaun was not cute at all to me. He was kind of pudgy and didn't have a very nice face. He dressed in expensive clothes, but he just had a weird shaped body and was only a little bit taller than me. He just wasn't my type. But he was nice enough and he seemed very intelligent. He told me he was the head engineer for some big name company. I actually had a STEM major too, so we connected on a science nerd level, which was enough for me to build a good customer service relationship with him. After that first lunch, I guess he learned my schedule because he would show up every day I was working. The strange part was that he didn't even drink. He would sit there at a table all by himself until closing time and have me refill his Sprite and talk to him. At the end of every night, he would leave me a couple hundred just for taking care of him. I wasn't creeped out because I did see some other people our age talk to him, and some of my friends said they knew his brother from around town. So I wasn't scared of him and figured he just had a crush on me and was probably just trying to impress me with all the money and attention. Fast forward, and I started to let him take me home at night. Girl, what? What the Why? I didn't like walking by myself for 3 miles in the dark. It really wasn't safe. I wasn't attracted to him, but I'd rather ride home in his super comfy Mercedes than walk in my work heels. Feel free to drag me. One of these drives, I opened up to him about all my money problems and barely being able to afford paying my parents' mortgage. He turned to me and said,
If you were my girlfriend, I promise I would take all of those away.
I'm sure he did. I was thinking, dang, this guy is really serious about me and is a true gentleman. In a weak moment, I agreed to be his girlfriend. But as my mom always says, nothing in life is for free. I did not know what I was in for. First red flag was that I met his family way too quick. We went on a wonderful first date. He spent so much money on taking me out to a 5-star restaurant and getting me everything on the menu. I'm a big foodie and wine drinker, so best believe I was eating all that good food. We talked about everything during this day, and turns out he was a really interesting guy. I also felt a little sorry for him when he started telling me about his insecurities and about his looks, and told me that he was beautiful on the inside, and that's where it counts. After the date, he asked me if I wanted to go back to his place. Feeling a little buzzed and wide open to my new hero, I said yes. We went back to his place. I was a little surprised that instead of having a modern bachelor pad like most single men with this kind of money, it was a suburban house, like a cookie cutter house that a full family would live in. When we went in, I figured out why. His mom met us at the door and took our coats. She didn't even seem surprised to see me. We went to his room and I asked him, "So you live with your mom?" A little confused. What he told me blew my mind. Oh, he said,
My mom and dad are crackheads and almost lost the house, so I bought it for them and they live with me now.
turns out he was telling the truth. "Mom," he shouted.
Bring me and Keith something to drink. Did you wash my clothes?
His mom hurried in the room like a maid and did what he said without questions. That was red flag number one. Red flag number two, his weird sex fetish. After dating Leprechaun for about 3 months, we still hadn't had sex, which was actually fine with me since I wasn't physically attracted to him. We had kissed a couple times and I met his mom, dad, and doggy, but he hadn't made any moves on me yet. Him taking it slow with our relationship just made me think he was a gentleman even more. Maybe he caught on that I wasn't that comfortable with him just yet. He had also kept his word and was paying for my school loans, my utilities, and my phone bill. He was even teaching me how to drive and letting me borrow his car for lessons with my girlfriends. I had no reason to be suspicious that the sex wasn't there yet, but one night I just got super in the mood. I think we had just come home for a night out and I was a little tipsy again, and again wide open. I was ready to let my hero take his prize. I started showing him that I was into it and kissing him all over, but he still wasn't getting in the mood. All of a sudden, he grabbed my booty really hard. Still gripping it, he whispered in my ear,
I just want to put things inside you that will stretch you all the way out and ruin you for any other man.
I was a little drunk, but that sobered me up real quick. I didn't know what he meant, but didn't like how that sounded. I told him that was never going to happen in his lifetime. He just laughed and said,
We will see.
needless to say, we didn't end up having sex that night, and I was weirded out. Red flag number three, parent slaves. Remember when Leprechaun told me how he saved his parents from losing their house? Usually, I think that was a lie and he was still living at home with his parents to save money, but I quickly found out he had told me the truth. His parents had almost lost the house in the recession of '08 when his dad got laid off. Leprechaun had saved the family in his mom's cleaning business, but not without a price. His parents were like slaves to him. They cooked us dinner every night and jumped to his every request. The longer we were together, the more comfortable he got with verbally abusing them right in front of me. He would call his mom a fat slob and say that she was worthless, but not as worthless as his dumb dad. He would buy his mom anything she needed, but I noticed she was very hesitant to ask him for things she needed. And I understand why, because every time she did, he would grill her about what it was for, like she was a child. But remember, I didn't know what to think because he told me that his parents had a drug problem. And since he hadn't lied about anything else, I thought maybe he was being harsh with them because he thought they would go out and buy drugs with the money. Red flag number 4, his obsession with psychopaths. He would tell me random facts about psychopaths all the time. One time he said the most successful people are psychopaths because they would do anything to succeed. And he said it like he admired this fact or something. Red flag number 5, he kept tabs on me. One time he allowed me to take the allowed. Okay. Allowed me to take the Mercedes to drive my girlfriends to the club. I was ecstatic to show off with my girls, and they were loving pulling up to the club in the fresh AMG, making the whole town turn their heads and wonder who is that in the car. He also had given me money to pay for a table and bottle service for my girls. I'm not gonna lie, we were flexing hard and looking cute. My girl gang was immaculate, so of course, men were coming at us from all sides. I just waved them off, faithful to my little leprechaun, of course. At the end of the night, when we were waiting for valet to pull around with the car, a group of guys came up to us again and started trying to holler. I'm just rolling my eyes, being sassy, and letting my girls take the lead. One of the guys says to me, "Where your man at? I don't see him." Trying to be cute. By the way, he was really cute, but I was trying to stay strong, girl. Out of nowhere, I hear Leprechaun say,
Wanna know who her man is? Right here, bro.
I look around and Leprechaun is walking up to us smiling from ear to ear. I feel like I had to rub my eyes because not only had he let me borrow the car, but he also said he was going to be out of town on business anyway. What was he doing here? Also, I hadn't even let him know where I was going to be at. And even though we live in a small town, it's still big enough to have lots of clubs to be at on different sides of town. So, again, what was he doing here? Most of my girls didn't think it was a big deal. They can be messy, so they thought it was hilarious. The cute dude just put his hands up as if to say, "She's all yours," and backed off. The only one of my girlfriends who seemed suspicious was my best friend. Bestie was shook. Leprechaun took the keys from me and drove us all home. Bessie was texting me from the backseat like, "Blink twice if you need help, girl." And, "Girl, how did he know where we was?" I just laughed it off and told her, "He's serious about me." I was so dumb. We still haven't even had sex, by the way. Red flag number 6. His mom warned me. Oh, Lord. If the mom warned you, come on now, sis. One night, I was over Leprechaun's house after a family dinner. He had gone upstairs to do something, and his mom, looking like a captive who finally saw an opportunity, grabbed me and said, "You should leave him. You don't know everything about Leprechaun. His last girlfriend." He interrupted her by coming back downstairs. It was like a horror movie. When he saw us standing together, he got really upset and immediately took me home. Girl, I'm scared. It's giving me chills. Like, is this a Lifetime movie? At another event, I asked his mother what she meant, and she told me something that made the hairs raise up on my skin. She said his last girlfriend had to get a restraining order against him. She said he was following her everywhere, trying to ruin her life. She said he slashed her tires, threatening her, and posted some pictures online that got her fired. At this point, I was feeling like maybe I really should leave Leprechaun. But it was a hard decision. I still wasn't making enough money at the bar to pay for all my expenses, and he was really keeping me in a lifestyle I had grown accustomed to. To be honest, I didn't want to give all that up. Plus, I was still thinking all of this might just be lies his mom was telling me to get back at him. Even though she obeyed his every word and babied him, she didn't exactly seem to like him. Red flag number 7, crazy jealousy. I wasn't so mad about this because I was very faithful to him. But one night, Leprechaun hacked into my phone and messaged every person with the guy's name saved to stay away from me. I didn't even know he had done this until my friend and family members started calling me asking why some dude was texting them nasty things. I apologized for him and told them that it was just my boyfriend and that he was a little insecure. My boy cousins and uncles were honestly really upset, and I had to calm them down by just saying it was a mistake. One night, he messaged a dear friend from back in Hawaii that I was very close to. He was this tall, handsome ex military guy who had really been there for me emotionally during my abrupt move back home. Leprechaun called him and told him never to speak to me again. My friend told him to get fucked. LOL. Why you tell him to get fucked? That just sounds weird. But okay. Leprechaun told me this when I confronted him about the messages. He didn't even apologize for upsetting my family. He just said I was probably screwing my friend and that I didn't fool him. I kept telling him that wasn't true and that I was faithful, honest person, but he never believed me. Red flag number 8. I know I should have been left. Don't judge me. The pictures. One day I was just at Leprechaun's place in his room waiting for him to bring back some takeout. I was getting bored in the room and didn't want to mingle with his mom and dad, so I started looking through his stuff. I wasn't trying to snoop exactly. I was just bored with only his room to entertain me. I found a little digital camera and started to look through it. I was shook. On it was all these pictures of girls' crotches, and not like pics that look consensual either. A lot of them look like girls with skirts on just walking up the stairs or on escalators with a camera secretly beneath them snapping away. Oh, hell no. Some of the girls look underage just by their outfits, so they had on book bags and just looked really young. I was sickened to death but kept flipping. I found pictures of me, girl. All of them were taken when I was either sleeping or changing. Like I said, we hadn't had sex yet, but I was comfortable enough to change in front of him and sometimes like to try and tease him by standing naked in front of him to see if he would go for it. I thought he wasn't paying attention, but I guess he had been secretly taking photos. I deleted all the photos in a mass delete. I don't know why I didn't try to show them to the police. I just didn't want him to know I seen it. I want him to assume that they just got deleted on accident. I should have left that night, but I didn't. To be honest, I was kind of scared about what his mom told me about his ex and how he tortured her after they broke up. At this point, he had so much of my personal information from paying my bills. I just wanted to be smart about the split. The last straw. Ooh, y'all. This sounds like a Lifetime movie for real. We got into a car accident, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Ooh, Lord. It was a couple of days after I found the photos, and I was still trying to figure out how to leave him peacefully. He was driving me home after work, and we got plowed by this car behind us. The back window was busted out, and the driver tried to drive off, but of course, Leprechaun remembered his plates. Leprechaun talked to the police, and that whole day they searched for the person who hit and run. I had never seen the police try that hard to help someone ever, so I was really interested. They caught them after a couple hours. Turned out it was a 13-year-old kid whose mom had made him drive to the store for a quick run. They didn't have insurance, so the kid had to drive off so his mom wouldn't have to pay for the damages. I felt bad for the kid because it wasn't even his choice, but Leprechaun was pissed. He said,
I don't want that ghetto trash getting away with this.
to the officers over the phone. And of course, he filed charges. After the call with the police, Leprechaun went to the bathroom for a bit. I was just so tired of the whole situation of being with this monster who called a 13-year-old kid ghetto trash and would want to see him behind bars even though he had full insurance on the Mercedes and everything would have been taken care of regardless. I decided to just leave him now and deal with the consequences, whatever that may be. When I went to the bathroom to tell him I was leaving, the door was wide open. Leprechaun was standing shirtless and punching himself really hard over and over again to his chest. This ain't no movie. This sounds like a Lifetime movie I watched. Is you trying to play with me or something? I don't know. His chest was purple with bruises, and I noticed he has been doing it in a way that looked like it might have been caused by the steering wheel. He looked at me with these weird dead eyes and then took a selfie of himself in the mirror. What did you do that for? I asked.
I'm sending this to the cops and insurance company. That thug and his mom are going to owe me so much money.
I left right then. He was still taking selfies in the mirror when I picked up all my stuff and walked all the way home. The aftermath. Leprechaun called me over and over again for weeks after I left, but I just blocked his number. Of course, one day my phone just shut off because he terminated the services. I didn't care. I was just so glad to be away from him. I got a new phone, but with the same number, unfortunately. I quit the job at the bar to avoid him and always having to look over my shoulder when coming home or leaving at night. Then I started getting calls from a private number late at night that would go on for hours. I would literally have to turn off my ringer because the number would just call again and again and again. Sometimes a random number would text me and say things like, "That's a nice outfit you wearing," or Whose car is that parked in the driveway? I knew it was him and I knew he was following me. I know what you're thinking. I did call the police at that point, but they told me it was probably just a prank and not to worry about it. The worst was yet to come. Leprechaun was actually connected in the area. I didn't know this when I first met him. He did more than just run engineering for his company. He also owned a lot of properties around town. His friends were all influential people in the town and had me blackballed. I couldn't find work anywhere. I would apply and no one would hire me. I can't prove he had anything to do with it, but I have a good feeling it was him since it was the same kind of sabotage he allegedly did to his ex, according to his mother, that is. I stopped being able to pay my bills and I had to go ahead and move in with my parents at their new place 2,000 miles away while they sold my childhood home. I was devastated. I only spoke to Leprechaun one more time in my life. He called me randomly years later to reveal that he had bought my childhood home and we could live in it together if I go back with him. He was true to his word too. I checked it out on Zillow and sure enough, my parents had sold it to him. To be fair, I never really told them about him, so it wasn't their fault. It was absolutely nuts for him to have done that. I mean, what would he want with that house that I grew up in? But there was nothing to do except for let it go and move on. I just told him, sorry, I don't think my fiance would like that. My beautiful ex-military man laughed in the background loud enough for him to hear and then had me hang up on him. We blocked that number and all other private callers after that. Oh yeah, by the way, I married that friend he accused me of cheating with. And no, I hadn't been cheating. It was just fate that my military honey bun moved from Hawaii to the same city as my parents and we ended up reconnecting. We have been together for 7 years now and are very happy. But if anything ever mysteriously happened to me, y'all better blame Leprechaun. Thanks for listening to my story, and I hope all of you stay safe and stay woke when you see them red flags pop up. Peace. Love, your K-Star forever. But thank you so much, boo, for that long story, girl. You get your own video because I know that this is going to be a long one. But, girl, you was dodging them red flags, but at least you know. At least you had self-awareness and you knew what the red flags were. A lot of people always want to tell you when you should have left. You should have left then. You're done for this, whatever. Look, you don't know until you're in that situation. So I'm just so happy you're in a much better situation now because that definitely could have went all the way left. Okay, it definitely could have been a whole different other situation. Sometimes the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow ain't always good, okay? Sometimes you gotta go the opposite way, okay? Because he was crazy. Like, see, that's why you gotta, look, y'all better stop messing with these men for the wrong reasons, okay? Just because they paying a few bills, y'all better stop messing with these people for the wrong reasons because you never know what situation you might end up in. But I'm glad that man left you alone because, baby, whew, he was doing too much. He needed a little bit of help. He needed to use some of that money and go get therapy, get a little counseling because, baby, he got too much going on with him. Like, what's going on? Like, from his relationships to the relationship with his mom and dad, like, it's too much. Come on now. But that is the end of her story time. I hope you guys really enjoy it. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Comment down what you would have done in a situation like this. As always, let's be respectful. This is somebody's life that we're talking about. Double check to make sure you are subscribed and that your bell notification is turned on. But y'all already know. Until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Peace.